then it's a conversation, and we hope it'll happen monthly. The idea is to make an archive at the college of material that people can express that can be used by teachers, by anyone who wants it. It's just that there's a tremendous resource at the college which I think has not been tapped, and that's what we're trying to do. And a new friend of mine, Ashanti Johnson, is the first person who is going to lead a discussion.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you. I was sat thinking for a long time about the way we name people, and I'm going to share this. The way we even came up with the idea for it was, I was explaining to him, I work in a lot of different arenas outside of the college, so I have to bring a lot of different skills to the table in different circumstances. And I work with a lot of parents who are newly immigrated. So sometimes there's a language barrier, sometimes there's a cultural barrier, sometimes there's just barriers in general. So I'm learning how to navigate all of these barriers and accomplish a task. So a lot of it has to do with not so much naming people, but people kind of, you taking what you know and kind of putting a label on someone. And I found that I was doing that a lot just for the ease of work. So, hi Kathy. And Sarah. Hello. So I explained to him, I had a girlfriend, and we were sitting talking about 9/11, and I said to her something to the effect of, you know, when we grew up in Brooklyn, blah, 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 you know, I said, you know how Spanish people, they make this and they eat this food and they do, and she was like, excuse me, what do you mean, Spanish people? And at first I was kind of like, okay. That was my name. I mean, that's what I had kind of understood her culture to be. And she said, no, I'm Puerto Rican. Spanish is the language. And in that moment, I was kind of like taken aback because we had been friends for so long, and I'm sure I had said it the same way many times. But I guess at that moment, everyone was kind of, 9/11 kind of gave everyone a little peek. So she was kind of really sensitive to that. So ever since that interaction, I've noticed it not only in the workplace, but as I'm doing my work outside. So I was asking Kent, you know, I said, well, I wonder what the feel is on campus around those kind of issues. As we go about doing our work, are we not just labeling people, but are we putting people in a certain box and not allowing people to show us themselves first before we draw an assumption on who they are? So I told Ken I would share some of my work outside. First, I was a teacher in Georgia, and one of the experiences I had was working with children who came from New Orleans. And I was the only black teacher in the school, and we had a conference much like this one, and we had to come up with a strategy. And one of the first things we had to decide was, what do we name the students? Are they evacuees? Are they refugees? Are they victims? And everyone's, Ashanti, what do you think we should name the children? I said, what about students? What about Amy, Mary, Jane? And it was an interesting moment because the fact that we even had to have a meeting about what to name children who just were in an absolutely traumatic situation was like a little bit much. But once again, something me and Ken had talked about, thinking that because I was the only African American teacher, that I would be able to help everyone else navigate, you know, dealing with people from New Orleans. I'm not from New Orleans. I don't know the culture. I had to ask the children too.
Yeah.
You know, what did you do every day? What was living in New Orleans like? So I said, instead of me trying to do that one-on-one, let me open it up to the whole school community. So that made me kind of think about the names that we put on people. The Katrina evacuees, you know, is it just Creole, or what is it all about? Instead of putting a label on those kids, it was much more informative to open up the forum and have them kind of share their world with us. And then as educators, we could decide how to meet their needs outside of just records and classroom participation. Like, they had specific cultural needs that we weren't meeting because they're in a totally different place. So